Hi, my name is Cathy Schneider. I'm an interpretive naturalist for the Champaign County Forest Preserve District, and today we are going to talk about scientists and research. Now, scientists are just people who are trying to understand the world around them a bit better. They're curious and they're looking for answers, and they use their research to gather data, collect facts and information so that they can answer those questions. Now, do all scientists agree on the answers? No, they don't. Did you know that they can discuss things? They can even argue over things, but that's not a bad thing. It actually really helps. It can answer more questions, it can show different perspectives and ways to look at the information, and it can lead us to get more research. Because to answer some of those questions, scientists need to gather a lot of data, and that's where we can come in. We talked about how scientists are gathering data to answer these questions. Now, sometimes they need so much data that they can't do it on their own, and that's when they can start up something called a citizen science program. Citizen science programs are ways that scientists can ask the public to get observations, to collect data from a large area and send it to them so that they can use it in their research. Citizen science programs range all over the place. There are some about birds, some on plants, some on worms, and there's even some on the weather. And the great part of this is it gets everyone involved, and you can do it from wherever you are. So one of the citizen science projects that we can talk about is Project Squirrel. Guess what they're studying? That's right, squirrels. And it's a great one to get you into citizen science projects because this one is just looking at tree squirrel populations, namely gray squirrels and fox squirrels, and see how the population changes over time and if they interact. And you don't have to sign up or anything. You can just go on their website, and they want to know things like how many gray squirrels did you see, how many fox squirrels did you see, and what are some things that they were doing. It's really simple and it helps them a lot. Even if you don't see any squirrels, they want to know that because they want to know where those squirrels are and where they're not. This all gets put together so that they can look at that data and examine the trends over time of where these squirrels are, where they're growing, and maybe where they're leaving. So, easy way, Project Squirrel. So the second citizen science project we're going to talk about is called Feeder Watch, run by the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. This project is all about birds, and it has people look at their bird feeders. They can be in parks, in backyards, at nature centers, on your windowsill, and all they have to do is watch their bird feeders and write down how many birds they see and what kinds. This runs from November through April, and they take that data, send it in, and it's put together where scientists all over the world can access it. It's really good for looking at long-term trends of bird populations, where they're migrating, and their movements. Now, we are going to give you a little test. We have a video of some bird feeder footage, and I want you to write down the number of birds you see and what kinds. You ready? There's a lot going on there. Were you able to count all those birds? Here's the numbers that I found. Now, are your numbers kind of close? Did you maybe see some birds I didn't see? It's kind of hard to be a scientist and gather this information, but it's very interesting and you learn a lot when you do it. So we want you to practice your research skills at home. You can join one of the citizen science projects, or you can just observe some of the life around you. That could be wild birds, worms, it could even be your pet or maybe one of your siblings. You just write down the date and time that you're watching, and then write down what you see them doing. This is how collecting research goes. So that was all about scientists gathering information to answer their questions and how sometimes they need help from people like you and me.